Now, who thought they'd ever hear about birds who can't fly? It's like saying that some fish can't swim, or some lions can't roar. Well, we know that there are lions who can't roar because there's a story written about one, and it's a real interesting story. This little story is about a little baby bird known as a bald eagle. Her name was Softy. Softy's dad's name was Baldy, and her mom's name was Swoopy. Baldy and Swoopy had their own nest, which was about 2 feet deep. Even though Softy only weighed a pound when she hatched from her egg, she would grow much, much bigger. And this is why their nest needed to be so big. Once Softy was able to speak, she had lots of questions. One day she asked her dad, "Why does everyone call you Baldy? You have feathers." Baldy replied, "Because I was born. My head was bald. Even though we eventually grow feathers, we're still known as bald eagles." "And how did I get my name?" Softy asked curiously. "Well, your head was also bald when you were born," said Baldy. "Before the few feathers you have now started to grow, your whole body was very pink and very soft, and that's why we called you Softy." Well, Softy then turned to her mom and said, "How about you, Mommy? How did you get the name Swoopy?" "Well, I got the name Swoopy because I swooped down toward the water very fast to catch fish." "But how do you catch them, Mommy?" said Softy. Well, Swoopy showed Softy her hands. "Our hands are called talons. See how long our talons are? They're the reason we catch fish so easily. Our talons are so strong that we can carry fish that are very big and very heavy." A few days later, because Softy's talons were so big, she started to crawl up the side of the nest. Baldy and Swoopy were just getting ready to fly out when they looked over and saw little Softy fall out of the nest. What a terrible thing. Baldy and Swoopy weren't too worried because they expected that Softy could fly at this young age. But no, even though Softy was flapping her tiny wings really fast, she couldn't fly. Well now, before little Softy could hit the ground, Swoopy swooped down and caught her, saving her from being seriously hurt. Both Baldy and Swoopy were worried about their baby girl now. Why couldn't she fly? So they decided to teach her to fly. They put her back into the nest and said, "Jump, jump, and flap your wings." Softy did jump, but sadly, she couldn't fly. Again and again she tried, but nothing worked. What to do, wondered Baldy and Swoopy. Then they decided to send their little Softy to the neighborhood flying school. "Let's go," said Swoopy to Softy. "Jump on my back, and we'll fly to flying school." "Will you come with us, Daddy?" Softy asked. "I'm a little afraid to fly on Mommy's back." "Don't be afraid," said Baldy. "I'll fly next to you. I wouldn't miss your first day at flying school for anything." So off they flew with Softy sitting happily on Swoopy's back. And they were so happy about school that they began to sing. "Off we fly to school today, to school today, to school today. Off we fly to school today on such a wonderful day." As the family landed, they were greeted by the owner of the bird flying school, Mr. Jolly Hooter. Mr. Hooter was an owl. He wore glasses and a funny hat. At least that's what little Softy thought it was. But Baldy and Swoopy knew that Mr. Hooter's hat was really a flying helmet. Mr. Hooter placed her smaller funny hat on Softy's little head. "This is your helmet," he said, "and you'll also need a parachute." "What?" said Softy. "A parachute. You'll need this if one of your wings doesn't flap the way it should. If you think there's a problem, you should pull on this cord. The parachute will open, and you'll gently glide to the ground. Do you understand?" asked Mr. Hooter. Yes, said Softly quietly, I understand. What if it won't open? Don't worry, said Baldy. I'll be with you. If the parachute doesn't open, I'll be there to catch you. Ready to go, said Mr. Hooter. You can even sing a song as you glide. If you find you can't fly, the ride in the parachute will still be fun, and your mom and dad will be alongside you the whole way. Good luck, he said, giving little Softy a thumbs up. Thank you, Mr. Hooter, said Softy, and up went her little thumb as she flew away on Swoopy's back. Sure enough, Softy started to sing again. Not to worry, I won't hurry. I'm going to have some fun today. Well, her voice was beautiful, and she kept laughing as she sang. Up in the air they flew as a family. When they were flying much higher than the nearest tree, Swoopy looked back at Softy. Are you ready? She asked. Softy made sure she had the parachute cord safely in her talons. Okay, she said, I'm ready. Okay, said Swoopy. Jump, Softy. Everything will be fine. Softy jumped and tried to quickly flap her wings, but she kept falling. Oh my, she said, I can't fly. I hope my parachute opens. Yes, indeed. Softy pulled hard on her parachute cord, and just like Mr. Hooter said, the small little parachute opened right over her head. And as it opened, Softy was bounced back in the air just like a rubber band. Wow, that was quite a jerk. Softy looked around, and sure enough, there was Baldy flying alongside her. I'm right here, said Baldy. Good job opening that parachute. But I can't fly, Softy cried. What am I going to do? But then Swoopy's eyes opened wide, and she said, I have an idea. You can sing better than any other bird. We'll enter you in the Golden Bird Talent Contest. If you win, you can give concerts for all the animals and birds around the world. You can fly around on my back, and Daddy will fly along with us. Well, the Golden Bird Talent Contest held once a year, and every bird who has any unusual talent can enter this contest. The talent contest is in just 2 weeks, so all the birds sign up. Softy agreed to enter this year's Golden Bird Talent Contest, which was just 2 weeks away. The next morning, Swoopy flew Softy to a huge pine tree. Okay, said Swoopy once she'd landed, this is the best place for you to practice your singing. I'll fly down to the ground and listen from there. The song you've chosen is Singing in the Air. Start singing and keep repeating the song until you feel you can sing it any time, anywhere. Okay, said Softy, here I go. I'm singing in the air, just singing in the air. What a wonderful feeling, I'm singing in the air. As Softy finished the song, Swoopy clapped and cheered, making a lot of noise in the trees. Other birds who were flying around stopped to perch on nearby branches. They listened to Softy singing, and when she finished, they also clapped in approval and appreciation. It was certainly the right song for the big show. Well, the big day finally arrived. The Golden Bird Talent Contest was about to begin. There were about 100 different animals and birds sitting on the branches of the trees surrounding a giant tree that looked like a big stage. On this stage, the competing birds would perform their acts. From up in the sky, Charlie the red robin from France flew down and landed on the stage. He'd won the previous year's Golden Bird Award by performing triple somersaults in the air. Charlie introduced Blinky, the master of ceremonies for the show. Down flew Blinky, the beautiful white parrot from Brazil, dressed in a smart black tuxedo with a bow tie. He was well known for telling funny animal stories and was also a past winner of the Golden Bird Award. In minutes, the show began. Blinky first introduced Sharpie, the woodpecker from Canada, who could make the funniest sounds while pecking away at a piece of wood. Sharpie got a big applause from the audience. Then Blinky introduced Harpy, the happy hummingbird from the Caribbean, who was able to hum 50 different songs one after another. She hummed 5 of her favorite songs for the audience, and then when she hummed Singing in the Air, the same song that Softy was going to sing, Softy loved it. It was now Softy's turn to be introduced. Blinky told the audience that Softy was a bald eagle who couldn't fly, but she'd overcome her problems flying by learning to sing beautifully. So, ladies and gentlemen, said Blinky, let's give Softy a big welcome. The animals waved and clapped loudly as Swoopy flew Softy down to the big tree stage. Softy was wearing a cute red and blue hat with a white star. After all, she was a bald eagle, the national bird of the United States. There was some chatter when Softy started to sing. Then suddenly the audience became very quiet. Softy began to sing her song and smiled as she did. It certainly seemed as though the audience liked what they were hearing. After all the other birds had performed their acts, Blinky told everyone that the judges would decide who was going to be the winner. Perky, the giant stork from Japan, chose Softy as the winner. Slinky, the pigeon from England, chose Sharpie, the woodpecker. And Perky and Slinky then looked at Josie, the beautiful swan from Malaysia, and waited for her vote. She paused, looked up in the sky, and said, "I vote for Softy." That was it. 2 out of 3 votes meant that the winner of the Golden Bird was Softy the Bald Eagle, winning the Golden Bird Award. Let's bring Softy out on the stage and give her the award. Softy hopped over to the center of the stage. Blinky stood there with the award, a very large, beautifully carved and polished wooden wing mounted on a flat piece of wood. Every year, the woodpecker family was responsible for crafting the Golden Bird Award. When Blinky gave the award to Softy, all the animals and birds, they start cheering, enjoying the ceremony. Softy cried as she accepted the award. And do you know who else was crying? Yes, you're right. Swoopy and Balding were also crying. They were so happy for Softy. Softy had proven that anyone can overcome their disability by finding just one thing that they can do, and it's that one thing that'll make their life enjoyable and worth living. We end our little story now by telling you that not only did little Softy become an award-winning singer, soon afterwards she began to sing for disadvantaged and elderly birds and animals at different hospitals in the forest. Before she knew it, she was traveling around the world using her newfound talent to bring joy and happiness to everyone she could.